Okay, so I guess we are starting. Hello, welcome everybody. Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide Saturday community race. How's everybody doing out there in Twitch land, or if you're watching this VOD on YouTube, on the YouTube lands? We have an awesome four-way dance for everybody on the cards here. This is Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, open world randomizer for Final Fantasy VI, even though it says 3 on Green Monkey's screen, trust me. This is Final Fantasy VI. And basically, everything's randomized. Your starting characters that you get, what abilities that they have, what magic is taught by certain espers, where the boss locations are, which enemies you fight. So it'll be an exciting race to behold for everybody here today. So let's talk about how to win. How do we win? How do we beat the game? So to unlock Final Kefka, as you can see on the tracking screen right here, we need 6 characters and 6 espers. We start out with 2 characters, so we will only have to find 4 additional characters and 6 additional espers. There is also a skip to go straight to the statues for doing 17 different checks or world events, as checks are, there's what they're called in the randomizer here. So if we get to 17 of them, we can skip right to the statues. There are some other objectives in here as well, including a auto haste for your entire party once you have done 16 checks. So that's right before the 17. So I'm assuming if everybody is going for the skip, they'll also get the auto haste as a result. And this is a dragon-friendly seed. If you kill a dragon, you will get a lot of XP and MP. However, you will actually also get between -32 and -28 to your speed stat, and you will also, unfortunately, forget every single spell that your characters have learned. Woohoo! Comms are cutting in and out. That's not good. Maybe I'm being too loud. What if I go softer? Is that better? Maybe the noise gate's on, so that if I'm too loud, it's peaking too high. Perhaps that's probably it. So anyway, yeah. So if you kill a dragon, bad things will happen to you on this particular scene. Let's go over some more of the options as we have between 100% and 145% of vanilla character stats on all of our characters. So we have some swole characters to start off here. We also have a very low gold multiplier of only 1 times for each battle that we fight. However, items in this particular seed are pretty cheap. We start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 amount of gold, which is a terrible combination for your luggage. But everything in the shop is only 20 GP, and selling things gets you 0 GP. So spend your money wisely. There are unfortunately no rods, shields, super balls, EXP eggs, or Illuminas in shops. However, there is one objective in order to get an Illumina, and the objective is you have to do 2 of these 4 quests. Save Cid, help the injured lad in Mobliz, set the Zozo clock, or perform in the opera. It looks like we're getting the 10-second marker to the racers starting, so we'll be going in 3, 2, 1, and here's the start of the race. Let's see who we get right off the rip, character-wise, and it looks like we've got a Celeste and Sabin start, which is going to be very nice. Each of those characters have a total of 5 checks, as we see Celeste with tools, and Sabin has got his normal blitz from the vanilla game. It looks like Boo is going to automatically head over to the World of Ruin here. Y NPC is set to remove, so it looks like he's going to go get the Cursed Shield and or the weapon shop, which is something you can do right away. We've got Green Monkey and Julith both in the Returner's hideout. Javinator is in the World of Balance Arch. So there is some shops. Picking up some Dragoon boots. We either got Siren or a Cat Hood on Boo's screen. He will pick up the first Magicite of the run. Siren. Something very good for the final boss. Siren can mute everything on the screen, and magic, hilariously, is one of the parts of Final Kefka and can be muted. That is either 17 or 27 on the Cursed Shield. I wasn't sure. It flashed up way too fast for me. So we'll see if whether or not Boo wants to uncurse that shield. Some red jackets over here and Mirage vests on the cheap in the world of Balanced Nars shop. Some other flags for everybody to digest on is we have obviously there is free progression available because Boo just went to the weapon shop and got himself a piece of magicite. The cat hood, which is one of the best helmets in the game, if he wants to go get that, he's going to need to find Terra, and that will be behind the wealth check in the world of Balance. So what is Help the Injured Lad? Red Baron asks in the chat. So in the world of Balanced Mobliz, which is where Druid actually is right now, there is a soldier that is injured and needs help mailing letters to his girlfriend, lover. So basically you have to help him mail some letters. How I understand this to work is we see Javanator picking up Siren Esper, who is now heading over with Green Monkey to South Figaro. So how I understand how this objective works is that you have to pick up the letter from the injured lad, talk to this guy by the clock in the next building up in Mobliz, and he will mail a letter for you for a small fee. And after you mail the letter, you then have to do some other event, be that go into a shopkeeper and talk to somebody in the shop, or pass some time, and then you can mail another letter. So you have to do that up to 5 times. So here's the injured lad's house that Drew is walking into here. There's a letter over on the desk that you have to go and then send to the postal guy, and then the postal guy will send it to you for a fee, and you have to do this 5 times and then you do the objective reward. Meanwhile, Javanator is in Balanced Nikea, which is an interesting spot. Normally, people don't go here unless they are finished with the Serpent Trench with Gal, and by people I mean me, that's what I would give. So you see Drew then goes and nails the letter. He's going to go back to the relic shop, going to check out some relics here, and since he's got the Demon Chocobo background, I can't really see what is in some of these shops. Boo will give Drew a boo for that, so he picks up yet another letter, and he's going to go mail that because he talked to a shopkeeper, which sort of passes some time in this world, right? And he talks to the shopkeeper and sends yet another letter. So he has to do this, I believe, 5 times. So if anybody else in the chat knows more than me, they can correct me if I'm wrong. So this is basically the start of the seed where people are going around and checking various shops and doing some looting. So South Figaro is a popular play because there's a lot of chests in the basement where Boo is, where Green Monkey is. There's also some shops. You could take some grind fights if you want. You saw Green Monkey saving and equipping his party, so I'm assuming that he is going to maybe take some grind fights down here. He's got 2 hero rings, so hero ring only stacks the magic power, right? So it's earrings will stack, so with 1 set of earrings you get 20% more magic power. With 2 hero rings you get 50%. Hero Ring also acts as an Atlas Armlet as well, but Atlas Armlet does not stack, so you only get the 20% increase to physical damage once. So the Hero Rings won't double stack for physical, but it will for magic, and since Sabin has Blitz, most of which are magical attacks aside from Pummel, the one that he has access to right now, that's something good for Sabin or your Blitz user to wear, because most of the Blitzes are based suit if he wants to look like a cat. And I think Drillis is up to 3 or 4 letters that are mailed. So if you are curious as to how to help the injured lad, Drew is putting on a great show for you. He might not realize that YNPC remove is on. I see him bumping into some different NPCs here and there. You could just hit Y and get rid of them in this particular option set. So if he brings up his tracker screen, I believe, and if he looks at progress, I believe he'll have the Help the Injured Lad objective already. He's heading over to the Masa, which is where Stragos vanilla, but there are some chests around here in some barrels that we'll see. Green Monkey taking a grind fight over in the basement of South Figaro. We have Boo over in World of Balance Albrook. There are some shops here, and there are 6 different chests. 5 usually in the World of Balance, 6 in the World of Ruin, but since we have YNPC remove, we can get rid of that Magitech guard that he just actually passed by. So he knows about YNPC remove because he just yeeted that NPC off screen there. So we'll have to see where these runners go after this. So normally in the early game, it's just looting and shopping. So we're going to see a bunch of that. Drew is heading over to Zozo here. So one of the other set of objectives is to set the Zozo clock. Now in Worlds Collide, you have the option of randomizing the clock time so that you'd have to talk to all the NPCs to figure out what time it is, but since we didn't do that, Drew knows that the time is the same as in the vanilla game, 6:10:50. So he's going to set the clock here, 6:10:50. He's going to get his chest, and he's going to get his Illumina, as you just saw. So nice early play from Drew, grabbing that Illumina real fast. If I was playing this seed, those are the 2 objectives I do, because those are the quickest ones to get done. And with Celeste naturally being able to equip the Illumina, that is a good idea. Meanwhile, Green Monkey is still cleaning up the South Figaro basement after taking a few grind fights. We've got Javinator heading over into Zen, and remember, since the no free progression flag is off, this thief might be selling us something, so it's pretty cheap for that glowing stone, and it's unicorn there. So Javinator the first with 2 different Magicite in this particular race. It's got Merton on it, so depending upon what we see, we may have some Merton strats. I know somebody bought a bunch of red jackets. Drulith also picking up the unicorn Esper at the Zen Thief. So we've got a couple of players getting some early progression. However, in this seed, the battle, the level scaling is checks times 3. So since they've picked up the free piece of Magicite, I believe that might have been in the basement of South Figaro, and the piece of magic that is at the Zen Thief, that means that they now have 4 times 3, or 12, will be the enemy levels on both Javinator and Drulith's screen. So what are today's objectives? So today's objectives are, we get into, we can do the Kefka's Tower skip at 17 checks. At 16 checks, we can get auto haste on our entire party. So if you're doing the skip, you're going to get the auto haste. In order to unlock the final boss, we need to get 6 characters and 6 espers, and we started off with 2 of them. Another objective is you need to complete 2 of the 4 following quests to get an Illumina. You need to help the injured lad Mobliz, save Sid, set the Zozo clock, or perform in the opera. We saw Drew help the injured lad and set the Zozo clock, so he already has that Illumina. And just as a monkey wrench into this seed, normally you want to get dragons in order to level up your party and learn some spells. However, if you do beat a dragon in this seed, you will forget all the spells that you have, and you will get minus 30-ish speed on all of your characters. Javinator going into the Collapsing House in the World of Ruin to Zen. This is one of Sabin's checks, and I didn't see what was standing outside because I was looking at the stat sheet, but that is Locke there, so 3rd character for Javinator getting picked up here. Green Monkey heading into World of Ruin, South Figaro here. Excuse me, looks like Boo is going to try and help out Sid. Excuse me. So, in order to do this, what you need to do is you need to go down to the pond here and you need to look at the fish. You need to grab the fish that swims faster. That will heal Sid more. The fish that swims slower will actually kill Sid. So in this particular set of objectives, we need to save Sid. So that's why Boo is looking for fast-moving fish. And he's going to catch them and feed him to Sid. One of the things in Worlds Collide is that we actually doubled the amount of either good health or bad health a good or bad fish gives you based on what you collect here. Locke has Rage. I did not really see what the Rage list was. Drulith checking out Miranda, which has a couple of chests in there and also a weapons and armor shop. Green Monkey going to go into Collapsing House and collect his lock. We'll see if he checks any of the monsters in a box to see what they are. Drew and World of Balance, Jador, going to see if there's anything good in here. And we see Boo attempting to save Sid. He's going to go grab the faster fish there and start feeding them to Sid. So, there's a lot of quests in the new 1.0 out of beta Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide that are more vanilla things that you would see in a normal speed run is kind of cool that you could see now, like the opera scene, saving Sid, helping the injured guy. So it looks like Sid might be on the way back here, and Green Monkey's going to check this monster in a box, and it is PM Stalker, so one of the only monster in a box fights that do give out both experience and magic points, so he'll be happy to see that. He has taken some grind fights, but it's always good to get more experience and more magic points. He did pick up the Siren Esper in the basement of Celeste's in Celeste's cell, rather. And there you see Boo feeling much better. Illumina objective has been complete. I'm not sure what other quests that he did. I missed it amongst all of the 4 things that are going on the screen. It's a bit chaotic here. As we do see another set of PM Stalkers in the Monster in a Box, and unfortunately Drew is getting some sort of tutorial. This must have been a misclick somehow. Yeah, I think it's a relic tutorial. Yeah, feels bad, man. Yeah, Illumina early is great, especially when you have Celeste, who can naturally equip the Illumina. I'm not sure if Sabin can or can't. In this particular flag set, we've got Cure 2, Stop, and Warp on that particular Esper, and I think that was HP plus 100 or HP plus 50, so that's a pretty powerful Esper. Green Monkey picking up Lock from the Collapsing House here, and Javinator looks like he's heading back over to the World of Balance. He's going to go to... where the heck is this? Tolingen? Yeah. So he's doing some more shopping here. Unicorn Esper from Boo in the World of Ruin. I did not see what the price was, but it must have been good enough for him to buy. We know that in the World of Balance, there's only like 3,100 GP for it, so cheap to Zen Thief Esper all around. Drew picking up the Siren Esper in the basement of South Figaro there, so that's his second. And Boo is heading into the Collapsing House. We'll get his lock. So it'll be interesting to see what are the first boss checks that these runners will do. We know that Green Monkey has taken some grind fights. I don't think anyone else has. I didn't see anybody else doing any grind fights. Javinator is going on the shop hunt. In this particular seed, everything's $20. A nice Hamilton, I believe, if you're talking US currency. And we started with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 GP, which is a terrible combination for your luggage, but apparently decent enough money. So Javinator playing the elongated early game here, checking the shop to see if he can find the most powerful stuff. Drulith heading into the Collapsing House, sees Locke holding it up, and decides that he's going to go get Locke. He's skipping all of the chests in here. The chests in this particular seed, if you look here, where are the chests? They were 10% random and shuffled, so probably not going to get a lot of great things out of chests. And since you can't sell any item for any money, there's no point. There's not a lot of point in checking chests. Although there was a force armor in that barrel in World of Ruin Albra down by the docks, and we see both Drew and Boo getting their lock at approximately the same time. Javinator is in the Masa, just seeing if he could figure out what items to have. So it's, up to you. When you play Worlds Collide, you take a look at the flag set, you see, shops are going to be pretty cheap this seed. I should go hit up as many as I possibly can. So shuffle. So equipment is on shuffle actually. So we don't actually know if Celeste can hold the Illumina or not. I must have missed that when I was running down all of the different things. So yeah, items equipable is shuffle plus 42% random, because 42 is the answer to everything. So Apathy Zeal says Jackson. Hello, Apathy Zeal. Welcome to Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide. If you would like to start playing yourself, ff6wc.com is where you can find the website where you can download a seed. You can get some tutorial videos on how to play and what this is all about. There's some helpful information. You can also join the Discord. We try to be very friendly at the Discord. And you see Drulith now taking advantage of having Locke. He must not know about YMPC, because otherwise he would have just barreled straight through that door. So YMPC, some of the hidden doors are also, or the doors that you can't access, are considered NPCs, so you could remove them with this particular flag setting that we have to allow you to go to the weapon shop early. So he picks up his side of Esper. So I don't actually know what was in Celeste's cell. Thankfully I have a tracking sheet, which is unfortunately not filled out, so I don't know. I don't know exactly what was in Celeste's cell here, but we have both Boo and Drulith, I believe, heading into the Imperial camp. This is a popular spot to go to get some levels. As you see, they're both on level 3, so they need to take some fights, and this automatically has some ground fights. So this is a good first. First battle sort of check here, as we see Javinator going fishing, going to try and save Cid in order to get one half of his Illumina objective. As we see, General Leo is who we're chasing after at the Imperial camp. So one of the awesome things about Worlds Collide is you can change around the sprites if you want, and our seed creator for tonight, Franklin, who's also restreaming and tracking, so he's a real Renaissance man, that one. So he decided to change Kefka's sprite to General Leo, which is kind of hilarious, because Leo is also at the Imperial camp at this particular time. A Telstar is the monster in a box. You don't get much from him. I think it's just a hat, and it's not worth fighting, especially only at level 7, because Boo, I think, took maybe one grind fight here. And we will see after this first fight, we will either see a character or an NPC sprite sort of battling with the other soldiers at the Imperial camp. So if it's a character sprite, that will be your reward. If it's an NPC sprite, you know that your reward will either be an Esper or an item. You see Green Monkey also in the Imperial camp, party in the desert, with 3 of our runners here.
No, I'm good.
Javinator is also in a different kind of desert, trying to feed Cid's fish. We do have Stray Cat Rage, so that's, you see Cat Scratch coming out on Boo's screen. For Locke, Cat Scratch is one of the best rages. It does 4 times physical damage for any person that could use it, so I bet we'll get a lot of utility out of Locke's rages. In this particular set of flags, our runners started with, started with anywhere between 40 and 60 rages. So a lot of rages, usually some good ones will be in there. Meanwhile, Green Monkey finds Katana Soul as one of the battles here. Thankfully has a Noise Blaster, so he's going to do the vanilla speedrun strat of muddling it, and then hoping that it insta-kills itself, and there it is. That's Katana Soul down, and an offering for Green Monkey. Huge heads-up play there for Green Monkey to get that offering. Meanwhile, we see an Imp Sprite on Drulith's screen fighting off the 2 soldiers, so we know that this is either going to be an item or an Esper. We'll have to see after the 4th fight which it will actually be. And it looks like Boo there's multiple Katana Souls here. Thank goodness we've got some Noise Blaster, otherwise this would be a yikes. It looks like Boo did not find a Noise Blaster in the shop and didn't purchase it, so Green Monkey with the heads up, big brain play. Meanwhile, Javinator is over at Mount Zozo. Even though we do not have Cyan, you could Y NPC remove the door that is supposed to be sealed shut with the Rust Rid, and you can go ahead and do Mount Zozo anyway. And since there's no boss here, we can just go and get our reward, and it's going to be a Go-Go. Wake me up before you Go-Go. It'll be interesting to see, because I don't know if any of our other runners are going to be doing this check that soon, because again, this is one where it's taking advantage of the Y NPC mechanic in the game. And Go-Go unlocks only one check, which is the Zone Eater. And we'll see if Javanator actually goes and does it, because it's infamous for having those Chancellors that throw you off the balcony, which is never a fun thing. So I'm just writing some notes here down for myself. But with Go-Go, if you go to the status menu, you can actually customize the commands that Go-Go has. And we know that there's Rage with Cat Scratch out there. We know that there's Blitz, and we know that there's Tools. So there's a lot of good options for Go-Go. Unfortunately, Go-Go can't equip Espers in order to power up. But Go-Go often has a lot of great utility, especially being able to mimic magics. If we eventually get a user with Throw, although I don't think we have Throw in this seed. No, it doesn't look like we do. If we had Throw, we could mimic a Throw, and it would not decrement from the thrown objects counter in our particular mission. So Go-Go is great with certain options there. Green Monkey is the first one out of Imperial Camp. I missed what the reward was, but looking at the numbers there, it looks like that must have been an Esper, because he is the only one with 3 Espers. So that's Esper number 3. We're that much closer to unlocking Final Kefka, and we'll see where Green Monkey decides to go next from here. But the use of the Noise Blaster definitely made those Katana Soul fights a lot faster. Fenrir, okay, awesome. Fenrir is a great Esper to have, especially on the final boss. Will allow you to mitigate an instant death attack called Calmness that Tier 3 is using death counter. Green Monkey is going to head over into Barren Falls, which is pretty smart. It's very close, and you get a heal before you drop down the waterfall into this fight, which is going to be, it's an Inferno fight. This one is a little rough, no pun intended here, this early in the game. Inferno is one of the bosses that you normally fight in Kefka's Tower. Fire Rod is actually going to heal Inferno, and Green Monkey is going to find this out the hard way. With the characters that he has, Bolt is something that he's weak to, so go ahead and keep doing Bolt 2. Ooh, Bolt 3. So I don't know if Locke has natural magic, or if Bolt 3 was on one of the Espers, but Inferno, like most mechanical bosses, is weak to lightning and weak to water. We don't really have water right now, but we have lightning. So we're going to shock Inferno into submission. Meanwhile, Drulith looks like he is going into the Phantom Forest. You can go into the Phantom Train here. You can actually check what the reward of the Phantom Train is going to be in the boost. If you take a walk to the right, and we'll see what's in here. It's a ghost, so it's not a character. It is a Magicite. It is Shout, which is useful on Tier 1 of the final boss with speed +1, so that'll be good if we find a jumper. Or it's really good for any character. Speed is one of the most important stats of the game. Inferno going down on Green Monkey Screen. Great use of the lightning spells in order to take down Inferno. Shout will petrify everything on screen, and the long arm in Tier 1 of Final Kefka is actually susceptible to break or petrify, so you could use Shout to insta-kill that part of the boss, although it doesn't work 100% of the time, which is kind of annoying. We'll see what the reward is at the bottom here, as we see Boo following Green Monkey into Barren Falls. We'll see if he has some lightning spells in it. Meanwhile, Drew is going to continue on the Phantom Train, so he's going to do that to get this Magicite. There are also some chests later on in some of the later cars of the Phantom Train, as well as a monster in a box, so we'll see if he decides to take a peek at what the monster in a box is. Although we just beat 2 different Katana Souls in in the Imperial Camp, and Katana Soul is the monster in a box enemy you normally want to see because of the offering. Boo is pulling out the Debilitator here. Debilitator is a tool that allows you to change the weakness of an enemy. So I guess he did not have... he does have some lightning spells. But I guess wanted some other interesting tactics. So thank you, Retro Age. Appreciate the appreciate the kind words. Green Monkey also grabbing Show out of the back. Bio is okay. Quake is not something you normally ever see, and we've got the green Fumbaba Daddy. So Bio would actually help against Fumbaba, because Fumbaba, being green, is weak to poison. Green Monkey decides that he doesn't actually want Show. He doesn't want to go through the entire Phantom Train, so he's actually going to reset out there. So that's one of the good things about the Phantom Train. You should see what the reward is before going through the entire Phantom Train. We do have Javinator modeling the Katana Soul as well. Vanilla speedrun strat there to have him do the Slayer Edge on himself and take himself out. Unfortunately, that doesn't work on Fumbaba, but Bioblaster certainly will. Fumbaba is weak to poison. You can remember that because Fumbaba is green. So the sprites usually give away sometimes what their weaknesses are. Anyway, Green Monkey is up in Mount Kulse chasing around the shadowy figure. Boo is at the bottom of Barren Falls going to get his piece of Magicite here. Odin. Odin is also a good one to have for the final boss. It allows you to instant kill or attempt to instant kill anything on screen. And they're both parts in Tier 1 and Tier 2 that can be instant killed, so that's a good one to carry into the final fight with you. Ooh! And Drew gets smacked around there. Two of his three characters ended up dying, so that's going to be an unfortunate reset there. But at least now he knows A, what the boss is, and B, what the reward is, but he saved on the train. So he's going to have to make his way all the way through the end of the train. He's sort of stuck here. Meanwhile, Green Monkey making it to the end of Mount Kulse, getting Flame Eater, who is obviously weak to ice. I don't know if we have any ice spells here. We'll absorb pretty much all other types of spells. Stray Cat certainly will work, but we'll see if he's got any... There it is. So he knows that Anguiform is one of those monsters that you fight in the Serpent Trench, so it casts some water spells. Water will work on Flame Eater, as well as ice. So it's a good heads-up play there from Green Monkey. He does have ice, too, on his two other characters, so this Flame Eater is probably not going to be a problem here. Drew is just massaging his relics and pieces of gear around, now that he knows that Fumbaba is the boss. Fumbaba mostly does lightning damage, so I'm guessing he's going to make sure that he has some sort of mitigation. He's going to take a few grind fights as well. Meanwhile, Javinator is up in the rafters of the Opera House and is going to be fighting some rats and then going over to fight the boss. Now, he removed the conductor of the opera, or I guess the opera chancellor. You can YNPC that door open. You don't need to actually flip the switch. So that's some cool tech that Jav is showing off there. Green Monkey defeats Flame Eater. I completely missed what he got because I was too busy checking out the Opera House. If somebody in the chat caught it, just let me know. Boo is going to continue on the Phantom Train. He does want to get the chest in the back here, but doesn't need to eat. Phantom was an Esper, so there it is. So that's probably the reward. Has Strength +2 on it, which is great. Has Life 3 on it, which is also a great spell. Life 3 will allow you to get re-raised if you end up getting killed somehow, so that's great for the final boss. For that aforementioned insta-kill physical attack. And Green Monkey is now in South Figaro Cave, where Tunnel Armor normally is in the vanilla games. It blocks checks. And you can heal right before it and right after it, so it's a pretty good check. So the Chocobo window wallpaper, the quote-unquote unofficial name is the Demon Chocobo, which is annoying to read. And ooh, Green Monkey runs into Magimaster. This is going to be yikes for me, dog. So Magimaster is susceptible to Berserk, which will make him unable to cast any magic and will only do physical attacks. But I don't know if Green Monkey has Berserk, and I don't know if any rages do cast Berserk. There might be like one or two. There's like those flying grasshopper things, I think, that like will do wing wisp or whatever that does berserk. But I'm not, that would be some tech outside of my knowledge. So if anybody knows in the chat, let everybody know. Because then we can all... The thing about watching Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide runs is you learn something new every single time you watch a race or you're running one yourself. So it looks like Green Monkey is heading into a Coliseum. So for this particular set of options, we actually do have a rewards menu in the Coliseum that will show you the rewards. So it'll show you what item you bet, and it'll show you what item you get. So let's see if there's anything fun in here. A couple of elixirs, a Minerva, a Thunder Shield, a Flame Shield, a Dragon Horn if we find a Jumper. Blizzard Orb is there's Genji armor. Blizzard Orb is an okay relic to give you immunity to fire and absorb ice, and it also gives you +5 magic power. So that would be good for your Blitz user, but I don't know if everybody can equip the Blizzard Orb. Let's check the options here. So for relics, they're original plus random. 33% random. So there's a chance that some of the other characters can equip the Blizzard Orb. In vanilla, it's usually only Uvaro that can equip the Blizzard Orb. So there's a chance, but again, a chance is not guaranteed, especially when you're betting things. So it looks like Green Monkey's going to grab a Flame Shield. Boo is taking down our Fun Baba. Javinator is going to find out who is going to be interrupting the opera here. We've got Merton Strats over on Drulith's screen. So Merton is a spell that will attack everything on the screen, including your own party, with fire and wind, I believe. Fire or thunder, fire or wind damage. So it looks like he's got some immunities to that via probably some red jackets, maybe. I saw somebody picking them up. Meanwhile, we've got some Doom noodles down in the opera, using the air anchor on the bottom left noodle, which is susceptible to instant death. Each of these tentacles has weaknesses. I don't remember all of them. I just remember the bottom left one is susceptible to instant death, and one of the two bottom ones is weak to fire, and one of the other two is weak to ice. So we'll now see, there it is. So the bottom right one absorbs fire, and the bottom left one is weak to fire. So that means, conversely, the bottom right one will be weak to ice, and the bottom left one absorbs fire, but that doesn't matter because the bottom left one's already dead. Hefe reminding the chat it's fire and wind. There we go. Thank you very much. Green Monkey is in the Phoenix Cave, and normally I would say, oh, let's see if he's going to take a dragon. But remember, in this particular seed, if you kill a dragon, you get -30 speed, and you forget all of your spells that you've got. Boo's getting the bad news that it is Magimaster in the South Figaro Cave, and he's going to reset there. So, again, if you have Berserk, Magimaster is not that big of a deal. If you have defense ignoring stuff, like, maybe shurikens with a thrower or a drill, I know we have tools. We see Meteor coming out on Javinator's screen. That's also a spell that ignores defense. You could use that, but normally you want to just use Berserk and do it that way. But I don't think we have access to Berserk via either the spells or Rage. I'm sure that there's probably Rages that will get rid of, or that do cast Berserk. Meanwhile, it's a merchant for Javinator here at the Opera House. That means that is not a character. This is either an Esper or an item here, and we find out it's a Thunder Shield. So that'll be good for Merton mitigation, but not really happy to see that after fighting all the rats in the rafters and fighting a boss. You really want progress there. Remember, we do have 17 checks in order to get to the statue skip, and 16 checks for auto haste on all of your party. So it's not really a dead check, even though it is a dead check. Meanwhile, Drew just completely obliterates Inferno there. I barely even saw it. So he's going to get his Esper at the bottom of Barren Falls. Boo decides that he's not going to do South Figaro Cave and is instead going to do Mount Cults, which is where another Esper is. Javinator is following Drew down into Barren Falls. You get a heal before this battle, so it's a good one to take right after some fights. Green Monkey is at the end of the Phoenix Cave and gets himself another Magicite. Which Magicite is it? It is Carbuncle, not one that I ever use. So I actually don't even know what it does. Oh my goodness, commentator that doesn't know. It does have Remedy, which is useful in not a lot of situations, but I guess it's useful. Oh, there is Berserk in the seed. Okay, you just have to have somebody learn it. So now that Green Monkey has seen that Berserk spell, I wonder if he's going to put that Esper on and learn it and go back and try and fight Magimaster, because even though fighting Magimaster is a pain, you are guaranteed a Mega Elixir drop, which is very helpful. It heals your party and gives all your party your MP back, which is great on the final Kefka fight for Falling One. Carbuncle casts Reflect on the party. Thank you, Rack, for that. So yeah, that's not very useful. Maybe in certain situations where you're going to get pummeled, like in the Magimaster fight, Reflect might be nice. But other than that, not really all that helpful. Drulith is going to find out the bad news that he's got a Magimaster at the end of this South Figaro Cave. Flame Eater is down for Blue. I guess Drew forgot to put his Moogle Charm on. And you can't run away from a pincer attack like that. You have to use a Smoke Bomb, unfortunately. He's going to put that Moogle Charm back on. I think he took it off in order to take out Funbaba, and I guess got lucky and didn't run into another battle along the way. So Boo ends up with his Magicite from the Culls check. Javinator is going to end up with his Magicite at the bottom of Barren Falls. And let's see what Drew does here. Let's see if he has Berserk learned on anybody at all. It's hard to tell with the Demon Chocobo, but we'll get through this together, chat, I promise. There's Mute, which doesn't work. So again, you could get through this fight if you have magic, or if you have defense ignoring stuff, like a drill. I don't see a drill. You could do it the vanilla way and use scan every time, but that is extremely slow. Meanwhile, Green Monkey is, I think, going back to Magimaster here. Again, I don't know if he learned Berserk or if he just knows that he has it in his menu. No, so wall change only happens when Magimaster is actually allowed to attack. So he is. So Green Monkey did the thing that I said you can do, which is cast Reflect on yourself, and he's going to use Flash, which is defense ignoring magic damage. He is going to use Pummel, which also ignores defense, and he must have found some sort of rage that does the same thing, and this is certainly one way to do it, is cast Reflect on your party. Oof! So now we know he's weak to lightning. But some of the non-targeting spells, like Surge, will not work. Shrapnel is a good call. That also ignores defense, I believe. So I think that's on the Toe Cutter Rage. So yeah, Green Monkey is going to get through this fight. It's going to take a little bit, but he will get through it. And I think he's running out of options, because Javinator is the only person right now with a fourth character. And we found Go-Go at Mount Zozo, which actually is out of logic, right? Because we use YNPC remove to get to Mount Zozo. So technically Go-Go's out of logic. I think the only options, I think the only options are either here at South Figaro Cave. I don't believe we've seen Kefka at Narsh yet, and I don't believe we've seen any of Magitech Factory. Now, Magitech 3 is the only place where you can get a character, so the only other places to get a fourth character that are in logic at the moment are South Figaro Cave, Kefka at Narsh, or Magitech number 3. We've seen all of the other checks in the game for this set of characters, which is amazing considering that Sabin and Celeste have 5 each, and Locke has 3. So this will be an interesting one. I know that linear seeds are not everyone's favorite, but at the same time, it really allows you to see which runners are doing what. Javinator is putting the double sniper offering here on his Celeste, just punching Flame Eater, pummeling. Well, I don't want to use the word pummel, because pummel is actually working on Green Monkey's screen. Just beating Flame Eater into oblivion, gonna pick up his 5th Esper here. Drulith is up in the rafters, squashing rats like Charlie Day and Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Boo is taking out the Doom Noodles over here in the Opera House, using the Cat Scratch Rage and Air Anchor to instant death the bottom left noodle. And it looks like we do have a character on Green Monkey. It's Cyan with Rage. So, you gotta beat Magimaster to get character number 4 in Logic. Yikes. That's a rough one. Thankfully, we have access to Berserk on the Odin Magicite, which we did get from one of the previous checks. Cyan also has 5 checks. One of them is at the World of Balance Doma Castle here. There's 3 at World of Ruin Doma Castle at Cyan's Dream. And there's Mount Zozo, which we already know is Go-Go. So we'll see where the characters are here. We will see the reward coming out of the castle, and since that is Sabin, somebody we already have in our party, this is not going to be a character. This is either going to be an Esper or an item. So we'll see what the boss is here at the normal leader spot, and it is Dataluma, which normally you find in Zozo. Dataluma is normally not a problem, as anybody that's photosensitive, please direct your attention away from Boo's screen as he misses that pot. There we go. Dataluma won't be a problem, Stray Cat, or a Bolt, etc., etc. Meanwhile, Javinator is our first runner into the Magitech Factory. So Magitech Factory is actually 3 checks in one. The first 2 checks will either reward either an Esper or an item, so it can't be a character. And the third check, which is way after the minecart ride and 2 other bosses, will either be an Esper or a character. So we'll see if Javinator finds character for him, number 5, at the end of the Magitech Factory. But down in the dumpster with Ifrit and Shiva, we are going to be fighting Ultros number 2. So this is the Ultros that's normally at the Opera House. Not a very tough fight unless Ultros has a lot of HP, because you have to kill it sort of fast. Meanwhile, Boo is trekking up to Narsh in the hills. He's going to see if Kefka Narsh is the answer here. Green Monkey, I believe, picked up another Magicite. Ramu, I think that was. And, so it's not a character at Kefka Narsh. So that means we're down to Magitech 3, or behind Magimaster is gaining our seed. So we'll see what Magitech 3 is soon enough, I think. From Javinator, we get the Palador Esper as a reward for him. It's got Ice 2 and Fire 2, and Float if you wanted to do Quake strats. But yeah, that's not something that we usually see. So Boo is letting us know, since there is an imp at the Kefka at North spot, that's not a character. So Boo is banking on Magitech 3 here. He really doesn't want to go beat Magimaster. So he's following Javinator into the Magitech Factory. Javinator is going to tell us what boss number 2 is here. Meanwhile, the Tentacles over on Drulith is giving him a hard time. Oh, it's Spicy Chicken. Get your Spicy Chicken emotes out in chat if you got them. So you do get the Spicy Chicken emote if you subscribe to the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide Twitch chat. All of the money from our Twitch subs is going towards charity. I'm not sure which charity it is currently. Somebody else that is much smarter than me will let me know in the chat. Meanwhile, we do have Stop learned. So Stop is one of the statuses that Poltergeist is susceptible to. So good heads up play here from Javinator to use Stop on the Spicy Chicken. This fight's not really going to be a problem for him. Green Monkey, meanwhile, is heading over into the World of Ruin Doma Castle. Great little new feature of the 1.0 version of Worlds Collide is when you transfer from the World of Balance to the World of Ruin and vice versa, your airship does not go back to Narsh every single time. So it allows for comboing checks between the World of Ruin and World of Balance more efficiently, which means Cyan is even better than he was before, because you could do World of Balance Doma and then turn around and go into World of Ruin Doma right away. He does know the correct route for picking up both of the kids. That's another change to 1.0, is you have to pick up both of the Stooge kids here in the Dream. And we will see what the boss is here at Cyan's Dream number 1. Meanwhile, Jav is still trying to get through the Spicy Chicken fight. Boo gets through Ultros number 2, gets his Palador, and it's everybody's favorite Final Fantasy VI band, Hyden and the Hyde Knights. For this particular set of options, we do have the no undead flag on, which means we can't just use the Phoenix down like Green Monkey is attempting to do here. To kill it, you're going to have to kill it the old-fashioned way, which means with Pearl or Fire, because those are the two elements that Haydn is weak to. You have Aura Bolt, which is great, because that is Pearl. However, it's untargetable, which is bad. I don't know if we have the White Dragon Rage or the Madam Rage. Those will cast Pearl. Senor, Senior, Sir, whatever you want to call it, Behemoth, does Fire 3. Merton also works too. Fire 2 will work better than Bolt 2, but it will definitely work. Javinator taking out Poltergeist as, yep, we got more spicy chicken on screen. Somebody definitely likes their chicken with a kick. Drew, meanwhile, is in Mount Coulson, is going to find out that he's going to have to fight this Flame Eater here for his 7th Esper. So he's going to get more than his required amount of Espers. Meanwhile, Javinator warps out. Ooh, Javinator warps out of Magitech number 3. Will that come back to bite him? Yes, it probably will. Unless he goes for Magimaster here. So maybe he's still okay. He's still okay. Yeah, so you can warp out of the Magitech factory before the 3rd check, since it is rather long. You have to fight 3 fixed encounters and 2 bosses for just 1 reward. He's not going to, however, like what's here, unless he already knows the Berserk spell. Meanwhile, I believe that was an Edgar flying through the screen in red and yellow colors there for Green Monkey. So now we know that the 2nd check of Cyan's Dream will actually reward a character. So thankfully, Magitech 3 is not required in this seed. If you do beat Magimaster, you can grab Edgar, and that will be... Oh, that's only 5 characters, so you're still going to need another character. Anyway, so Boo, unfortunately, is having a rougher go with Poltergeist than Javinator did. Maybe he doesn't know the stop spell. Drulith taking down Flame Eater to get his 7th Esper, and he's running out of options for where his next character. So for him, it's either Magitech or it's back to South Figaro Cave. Looks like he's going to check Kefka at Narsh and get the bad news here. Meanwhile, Green Monkey going through the 2nd part of Cyan's Dream. Remember, you have to go back up through that cave, otherwise it loops infinitely, which is never a fun thing. Boo is going to head all the way back down to do a safety save here. Now, the reason why he's saving here instead of on the next screen is because you can actually warp out from this save point here after boss number 1. If you save down after Sid, or down right before Sid throws you on the minecart, you can't warp out here. So I like this walking back. I know it's a little bit more time, but oh, he's going to warp out altogether. Wow, he's not going to go through Magitech 3. Oh, I see what he did. He saved at that spot so that this way, if this is not a character, if defeating Magimaster is not a character, he could just reset his game and be right back at the bottom there and go through MTech 3. That's a really smart move there on Boo's part. Great heads-up play. Big brain, 4,000 IQ, galaxy brain play here. Meanwhile, Javinator is going to try and fight the Magimaster here. Did not use the Carbone strategy. Meanwhile, we have Air Force as the 2nd boss in Cyan's Dream. Air Force is low-key my least favorite boss in the game, especially in Kefka's Tower. Because when you only have 2 party members, that fight can get out of hand real fast, because he can cast Launcher, which reduces your HP to critical levels, and then he could do Wave Cannon, he could do Missiles, which drains your HP altogether, he could do Atomic Ray, which is basically like a fire 2.5 on your entire party. So Air Force is kind of a glass cannon. If you don't defeat him very fast, things can get out of hand super quickly, but Green Monkey has got a full party, and he's got all the stuff that he needs to defeat Air Force. He'll get rewarded with Edgar. We'll see what Edgar has. Meanwhile, Boo is also fighting up against Magimaster here. We'll see which, we can now see which, or who's going to come out first. Javinator actually has 4 characters, because remember, he got Gogo out of Logic. Meanwhile, Gogo will be back in Logic after he beats Magimaster, because then he'll get the Cyan character. for this particular set of options, if you do Cyan's Dream... Oh, Green Monkey's not even going to check the throne. Interesting. So the throne can either be an Esper or an item. I would have at least checked to have seen if it was going to be an item. You don't need an Esper, but if you look on the throne and it's a glowing pixel instead of an Esper, then you can go pick it up and see what it is. Boo getting through Magimaster, getting his character number 4, Cyan. So we'll see where he wants to go. Drulith, meanwhile, is heading into the Phoenix Cave, which we already know is not where character number 4 is going to be. Edgar did get inserted into Green Monkey's party. I don't know what Edgar has as his skill, but we'll find out soon enough. So Edgar opens up 3 different checks. Looks like Green Monkey's going right for that set of 3. So Edgar opens up the World of Ruin, South Figaro Cave into the Tentacles fight in the vanilla game. He also opens up Ancient Castle, which you need to obviously get down into the castle in the World of Ruin. So you always do Ancient Castle. You have to do Ancient Castle after you do this particular fight here. And we do see it's a ghost, so it's not a character behind the engine room fight. And he also unlocks Figaro Throne, which is a free check that you can just walk up to. So Green Monkey is looking for character number 6 here. I'm not sure how many checks Green Monkey's done, but if he's done 5 plus 8, which is what he has right now, that's 13 checks, so he'll need to do 4 more checks in order for the skip. Bottom tier is rating with a party of 6. Thank you, bottom tier. Come on in. Your table is up here by the window. Thank you for seating at the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide Cafe. Appreciate you coming through. So Green Monkey is going to remove the door here and is actually going to go check Figaro Throne before he goes into the engine room. Because we know the engine room is not a character, right? So we know that the engine room is either an Esper or an item because we saw the ghost beforehand. So this is smart here by Green Monkey, going to check the throne and see if it's his character. And if it is, he can go right to Kefka's tower and attempt to fight Kefka. Meanwhile, Javinator unfortunately loses his battle with Magimaster. What he doesn't know and what we do know is that the character that he needs is either behind Magimaster or it's behind Magitech 3, which he already warped out of. That's a feels bad man moment. And it is Realm sitting on the throne. So that's character number 6 for Green Monkey. He has unlocked Final Kefka. Now, the the Kefka's Tower statue skip is at 17 checks. I'm not sure exactly how many checks he has. He has at least 14. So it's only a couple of more if you want to get the skip. And if you do 16 checks, you get haste on your entire party. So that might be a little nudge, nudge, wink, wink to kind of get you over there. Realm has Sword Tech, and since we already went through Cyan's Dream, and in this particular set of objectives, Cyan's Dream unlocks all of the Sword Techs. Realm is a great character to have with Sword Tech, because Sword Tech 8 will kill anything on screen that's insta-killable. And with Realm's high magic power, Sword Tech 6, which is Stunner, will use magic power and disseminate it upon all of the enemies on screen. And Stunner is one of the few spells in the game that doesn't have the damage haver if there's more than one target, right? So it's pretty good. Meanwhile, Boo is going to mount Zozo and is going to find Gogo at the end of this particular trek. He will probably not be fighting the dragon, because in this particular seed, dragons give you minus 30 or so speed, and it will make you forget all of your spells. This is a dragon-friendly seed, so even though it is worth some XP and some MP, it is definitely not worth doing so, because there's a lot more negative effects than positive ones. So we'll see what Green Monkey wants to do here. We'll see if he continues doing any checks in order to get the statue skip, or if he just goes right into Kefka's Tower now. Meanwhile, Drew is heading over to the Magitech factory after getting the bad news that Phoenix Cave was not what he was looking for. Javinator is going to find that out in a few minutes. He's going to find out that he is locked behind either Magimaster or MTech 3. And we haven't been all the way through the Magitech factory yet, so we don't know if there's a character at the end of the Magitech factory. We know there's not one at Kefka at Narsh, and we know that Gogo is out of logic with Mount Zozo until you get Cyan, who's in the South Figaro Cave at the World of Balance behind Magimaster. So this is kind of a rough seed here. It looks like Boo is finding his Go-Go and is setting his party to only one member. So you know what that means, boys and girls. It's time for Zone Eater. How many trips down the Chancellor Bridge are we going to have? We need your predictions in chat. How many times will he get thrown off the bridge? Let me know. This will be a fun game to play. What you want to do for Zone Eater is only have one character, so that this way the engulf motion only happens once, right? Because normally Zone Eater will engulf each of your characters on every single turn, so having only one character will speed this process up a lot. So it looks like Green Monkey is still posturing as to what to do here. It looks like he is going to do the 2 Magitech checks. These are pretty fast. These are pretty quick. They're just a couple of bosses. I didn't even see Drew fight whatever the first Magitech thing was. I think it was Ultros 2. He just blazed right past it there. Oh, Boo gets a perfect 0 out of a 0 throws. Oh, he didn't even take the safety save either. Man, Boo must be feeling behind because he's not safety saving. He's not checking these chests. So he's just ripping right through. We're going to see what's at the end of Zone Eater. This is the first that we're seeing of this particular check. Meanwhile, Green Monkey and Drew are both in the Magitech factory. Green Monkey has his Kefka's Tower requirements, but I think he's going for the skip. And it is a piece of Magicite Bismarck. So that's a water elemental piece of magic. Not what Boo is hoping for, but again, it's just another check. And we need 17 of them to do the skip, 16 of them to do haste, and Javinator just reset out of the Phoenix Cave. I think he reset out of the Phoenix Cave once he got to the end of it, because he doesn't need another piece of magic. Right? I don't know if he saw that it was a piece of magic and not an item. Meanwhile, Drew showing that he is a smart runner and using stop on the spicy chicken. Get your spicy chicken emotes in chat if you got them, as we have our third helping of delicious chicken. Boo is heading into the Phoenix Cave, and he's not going to be happy about this one either, because he's looking for character number 6. Little does he know that it is in Cyan's dream. Javinator is heading to the Zone Eater Island, is going to be disappointed when he gets to the end of Zone Eater Island. Let me know your predictions in the chat. How many times you think he's going to get thrown off the bridge? Yeah, so normally, if this were me, I would not gravitate towards doing Cyan's Dream, because remember, the only character that you can get in Cyan's Dream is in the second check, right? So you have to walk through that maze, picking up all the toddlers, defeat a boss, and then you have to walk through that second part, and Javinator gets in with no problems either. Is he going to take the safety save? He does. So we've got 0 bridge throws and 1 out of 2 safety saves here, if you're keeping track at home. Ultros 2 on Green Monkey's screen. And it looks like Drew is fighting Spicy Chicken, getting the stop strats going here. Boo is heading through the Phoenix Cave, and Javinator is going to hate what's at the end of Zone Eater. Where is Edgar? So Edgar was the second check of Cyan's Dream. So this seed so far, we don't know what Magitech 3 is. This seed has been gated behind Magimaster at South Figaro Cave, which was Cyan. And Go-Go was at Mount Zozo, but Go-Go obviously leads to just a piece of magic. Green Monkey warping out of Magitech, but he already has all of his requirements. He's just looking for checks at this point, so that's a smart move for Green Monkey. Meanwhile, Javinator, it looked like he wanted to go to the Phantom Train. I don't know if he knows that it's not a character either. It's a piece of magic. You can check the caboose before you go into the Phantom Train and do the entire check. Looks like Green Monkey is into Kefka's Tower now. 59 minutes and 30-ish seconds, 59:40. So I didn't see if he got the skip or not, or if he's just gonna go the right or go through the normal way because he's sick of doing checks. Meanwhile, Drew, still without character number 4, is going to give us our first sight of Magitech 3. Boo finding the bad news that it's a Magicite at the end of the Phoenix Cave and not the 6th character that he is looking for. Javinator is going to find the bad news here at the Phantom Train that it is Shoat and not an item that he particularly needs. So it looks like Green Monkey is not going through the statues. So I'm going to have to ask him about that in the interview. He had Kefka's requirements, but decided to do Magitech 1 and 2 anyway. So that's interesting to me that he did that. There's a reward of auto haste for your party at 16 checks, and he has at least 15, right? Because he's got 6 characters and 9 espers. So maybe he's got auto haste on his party, but didn't want to do another check for the skip, I guess. But Realms check is very fast at Esper Mountain, right? You just walk a couple of screens and fight the boss. So I don't know about this. But again, something to ask him during the interview process. If it was me, I would go for skip, knowing that I got my rewards pretty fast. Although maybe he doesn't know that he is ahead. Maybe he feels behind. Boo, meanwhile, is going to do out of logic Edgar checks, and we know that this first check is not a character. We do know that the South Figaro throne is a character, but you can't access it until you get Edgar. The Ancient Castle you can access, but you have to beat the engine room first, and Boo's going to reset out because he sees it's not a character. Javinator also resets out of wherever he was. I blinked and missed it. I didn't even see where he was because it was not a character either. Drew taking out Ghost Train in one shot. Does have Blitz. I don't know if he suplexed the train or not, so we're going to give him -1 point for not suplexing the train. I'm going to make a note. Unless he did suplex a train and I missed it. So you're going to have to let me know in chat. Meanwhile, Boo is finally going to the right check. He's going to Cyan's Dream here and is going to pick up his Edgar after the second check. Meanwhile, it's Strago at the end of the Magitech factory. All right. So you can either go all the way through Magitech to get Strago, or you can beat Magimaster and get Cyan. So that's sort of the path through this seed here, right? Unfortunately, Strago's checks are a lot less appealing than Cyan's checks. So we'll see which check Drew wants to do. If he wants to do Ebbets Rock or Burning House, or what I would do, peek the Fanatic's Tower, see what the reward is at the bottom, and if it's a character, then go do it. Meanwhile, Welk is already dead over on Drew's screen. That was a pretty easy fight, and he gets character number 4 with Strago. Meanwhile, Green Monkey is going to show us what is at the Inferno spot, and it is Ifrit and Shiva. So anybody that had the displeasure of seeing Thursday's race saw me battling with Ifrit and Shiva the hard way, because I didn't have any ice spells. Ifrit is weak to ice and absorbs fire. Drew checks the bottom of Fanatic's Tower. It's an imp, so that's not a character, so he's going to note out of there. And he's going to check one of Strago's other checks. Meanwhile, Javinator is gonna try as hard as he can to get through this Magimaster fight. Boo is fighting off Haydn and the Haydnites, and since the no undead flag is on, that means he cannot, unfortunately, just use a Phoenix Down or a Revivify to kill Haydn. He's gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way with some Pearl or some Fire Magic. Haydn, all of the Haydnites go down, which means that Haydn can get charged up and do his ultimate quote-unquote attack. What it actually is will remain to be seen. Oh, it's Fallen One, and all of his characters are poisoned. This is horrible. No, oh my goodness, no, this is not good. This is really not good. Oh my gosh, F's in the chat for Boo. Wow, that is unbelievable. A Fallen One with his entire party poisoned. Yikes. Green Monkey does make it past the Inferno fight without a problem, so he's up to the statues. Drew is stumbling around in the dark. Ebbets Rock, you have to collect 22, no less, pieces of coral in chests here. It's sort of an RNG dungeon where each room is generated as it loads in, but there are 3 static rooms. The save room, the entrance, and the coral chest room. So you want to collect your 22 pieces of coral, get to the coral chest room, and feed it to the coral chest. Meanwhile, Javinator is still struggling on Magimaster. I don't know if he has the Odin Magicite or not, but Berserk is a spell on Odin. And if I was him and running into this wall, I would check all of my pieces of magic, see if any of them have Berserk on, because Magimaster is susceptible to Berserk, and Berserk means that you don't cast any spells. So that's what I would do. Meanwhile, Boo is going to take the Haiden Knights round number 2 here. And Drew is going to show us what the boss is at the end of Ebbets Rock with the blue creature there, and it is Piranhas, so bathroom break for Drew. Piranhas is a fight that is programmed to take between some amount of time and some longer amount of time. I'm not even sure what the values are anymore. And if you... and then the boss Piranha Prosopis shows up. So what I like to do in the Piranha fight, because I like to use the fight command, is that will build the enemy ATB bar, and that is what is used to determine when Prosopis comes out or not, is how long before the enemy ATB eats it up. Now, I know that's how it works in vanilla. I don't know if that is also how it works in Worlds Collide. Somebody in the chat will have to let me know, but what I usually do is I don't cast any spells, even though it might clear out the entire screen, because it doesn't fill up that enemy ATB bar. I just use the fight command, and then when Prosopis shows up, then I hit it with everything I've got, and Drew takes down the Piranhas. Meanwhile, Javinator nopes out of the South Figaro Cave and is going to do Edgar's checks out of logic here. Sees the ghost and is going to decide to do the engine room one. Meanwhile, Drew's character runs off the screen at Ebbets Rock. That means we get another character, and it's Terra after Ebbets Rock. Great pickup here, as we see Boo gets much luckier on the second go-round from Haiden the Haiden Knights. Green Monkey finds a French Vanilla Doom at the Guardian spot. Oof. So Doom is one of the late endgame bosses. Pretty tough boss. It's got 2 different phases. The first phase, it is weak to fire, absorbs ice, and you could hit it with a bunch of stuff, and it does physical attacks and magical damage. But the second phase of the fight is where things get really interesting. He will cast Force Field on himself. Well, first he casts Reflect, so you can't target him with magic. He ups his Evade, so it's very hard to hit him with physical attacks. And he casts Force Field, which nullifies out one particular elemental type of damage every time he casts Force Field. Boo getting the good news that he has finally found his 6th character at Cyan's Dream number 2 with Edgar. Meanwhile, Javinator is fighting Rexsoul over here on top of the bed of disgusting pasta. Rexsoul is a boss that is weak against physical attacks and will absorb Pearl and Fire, even though it is on fire. It's sort of weird. Usually I like to cast Ice on Rexsoul if I don't have physical damage. Otherwise, I just hit him with a stick, and he'll die at some point. Green Monkey taking out Doom rather quickly over there. Nice job, Green Monkey. Merton strats all day. Drulith, meanwhile, heading up into Nourish to do Terrace check. Is that Umaro? I think that was Umaro that peeked out from behind the cave, but ooh, it is Goddess. Not a boss we want to see. Goddess, one of the final bosses, absorbs Pearl and Lightning. Is weak to fire. If you use physical attacks against Goddess, she will mostly counter with Love Token, which means that the character that physically attacked Goddess will then absorb all of the physical damage for Goddess, and she has super duper high magic defense. So, thankfully he has a jumper on his team. Who's the jumper? Is that Strago? We got Grandpa's got ups. Ooh, that's a bolt to the face. So jumping does not trigger Love Token, so that'll be good. Merton also will work because that's fire damage. Number 24 over on Green Monkey's screen is already dead. Same with Air Force on Boo's screen. Javinator defeats what was on top of the Doom pasta. I don't even remember what it was now. I didn't see what the reward was, but it wasn't a character. It was either an Esper or an item. So he's going to go check the Ancient Castle and going to pray that there is a character down there, because he needs character number 5 at this point. Drulith getting the message that Final Kefka is complete for him, because he does pick up the Yidi, Umaro, so he's at 6 characters and 9 Espers. I don't know if he well, we would have seen the message, right? That, yeah, so we don't have auto haste yet, and we don't have the Kefka's Tower skip. So he's got 15 checks completed, so all he has to do is 2 more quick checks to get one for auto haste and the second for the skip. He's got to be feeling behind, so what characters does he have? He's got, let's see, he's got Terra and Umaro and Strago, so all of the Strago checks are not quick. The Terra checks are not that quick, but with YNPC removed, you actually can go to Zozo and you could get rid of the boss that's standing in front of the tower door and not even have to fight the boss. So that one's free, so that's where I'd be going. And you could also do Fun Baba and see what that is there, but the alternative is you can go up to World of Ruin Narsh, do Tritok and the Yeti Cave back to back, and those are 2 quick ones. Meanwhile, Green Monkey has found Atma Weapon, Atma Weapon as one of the statue bosses. Not a character for Javinator in the Ancient Castle either. That's another piece of Magicite. It is Stray, which will confuse all of the enemies on screen. Not very useful. Meanwhile, Boo is deciding that he's good to go. He doesn't want to he doesn't want to do any more checks, so he's heading into Kefka's Tower at 1:11:11. Hey, there we go. That's pretty easy to remember. Green Monkey taking down Atma Weapon here. Javinator on the Walk of Shame back from the Ancient Castle. You cannot warp out of the Ancient Castle. So this out of logic YNPC remove break to get to Edgar's checks does not pan out for Javinator. He's going to either have to go to Magitech number 3 in order to get Strago, or defeat Magimaster to get Cyan. That's the options for him now. Meanwhile, Drulith finding Tunnel Armor at the top of the snowy mountains of Narsh and just basically one-shots it. Sorry, Tunnel Armor, you are not long for this world. Meanwhile, Green Monkey has got 2 of the 3 characters on the right switches. He's got 1 more boss to go, and then he'll be up against KT. It does look like Boo actually got the skip, because he had so many dead checks. Or not dead checks, but checks that did not result in characters for him. Meanwhile, Drew picking up a piece of Magicite there. I didn't see what it was. Again, I'm just going to blame the Demon Chocobo font. And do that. Did Javinator not check the throne? Well, Javinator does not have Edgar, so he cannot check the throne. Right? You need, even though you can sequence break Edgar's checks for the engine room and the Ancient Castle, you can't do it on the throne because you don't have Edgar. If you go up to the throne room, there will be nothing on the throne. Meanwhile, Atma Weapon's older brother, Atma for Green Monkey, is the final boss in KT. So these KT tower bosses are pretty rough, right? We had Doom, Atma, and Atma Weapon. Atma Weapon's not as bad, but those other 2 are pretty bad. Meanwhile, Drulith is heading over into the Sasquatch Cave to do his 17th check in order to get the KT skip. We'll see what is actually here. You get to know what it is before you fight. And then it does look like a piece of magic that he pulls out. Alexander, I think that was. So Alexander is a Pearl casting spell. But more importantly, once he beats this boss, and I hope I didn't just commentate in person, once he beats this boss, and it's Tritok, which normally is a problem, but when you're this late into the seed, it's not a problem. Merton is not going to work on Tritok, though. Tritok is only weak to fire and will absorb everything else, including wind. So Merton, remember, is a combination fire and wind spell. So Merton doesn't actually work on Tritok, even though you think it would. It's kind of weird that way, right? So Green Monkey, unfortunately, resetting out of the Atma fight. He's going to give it another go here. Boo is going to take out Doom at the Guardian spot, and Fun Baba is appearing on Javinator's screen. I'm not sure why Javinator is going through with this fight, because he knows that this reward is an Esper and doesn't really need it. So I'll ask him about Phantom Train, Phantom Pain. Maybe he just is padding the stats in order to get to the right number of checks. I'm not quite sure. That might be a possibility here. Meanwhile, Doom giving lots of business over on Boo's screen. Atma is nullified out there with that S-Cross cast. that's a piece of fire magic, so Green Monkey's got some fire-resistant stuff. And meanwhile, that is death for Krytok, and Drew has completed the statue skip objective unlock, so I'm assuming he's going to be heading straight over there as soon as he's done giving his campers a good night's sleep with the sleeping bags here. Doom on to phase number 2 for Boo, so it'll be much harder to hit him with physical attacks, although Cat Scratch with an offering, and I'm not sure what weapon he's using, but that will certainly do the work. Meanwhile, 1:15:30 for Drew with the statue skip, and he's got auto haste on his party as well, so that'll be good. Javinator does pick up the auto haste objective there with the Show Magicite, so he is actually one check away from the statue skip. However, he has not unlocked Final Kefka yet because he does not have 6 characters. So this will be interesting because you need to have Final Kefka unlocked in order to beat the game. So even if Jav did one more check and was like, oh, I can do statue skip, right? You won't be able to fight Final Kefka. And it looks like Jav is going to head through Magitech 3. We'll pick up Strago, because remember, he's already done 1 and 2. So he's going to pick up Strago, and he is going to hopefully head to Ebbets Rock first, because that is the quickest of the Strago checks. He'll probably peek Fanatic's Tower, see that it's not a character, and then head over to Ebbets Rock. Meanwhile, Green Monkey is our first runner into Final Kefka. He steps on switches at 1:16:35. That was a 16-minute or so. Kefka's Tower, that's a little on the slower side, but again, these bosses have been pretty rough inside of Kefka's Tower. We've had Atma, we've had Doom, we've had Atma Weapon, and we had number 24. But yeah, so kind of a tough tower, this particular seed, especially after how linear, well, not really linear, but after being gated either behind Magitech 3 or South Figueroa Cave with Magic Master. So Green Monkey is stepping into the arena, stepping up to the plate against Final Kefka here, is going to use Realm in the 4th slot. So how you order your party at the beginning of when Kefka is saying choose your battle, whoever you pick in slot number 4 will always go first on every turn after the first tier. So he put Realm in the 4th slot because Realm can use Sword Tech 8, which will insta-kill anything on screen. So that means that Tools will be dead before he even knows it once you get up to tier number 2. So smart play here. Also casting Phantom at the very beginning of this. Unfortunately casting Merton, which will negate his Phantom that he just casted. So normally you cast Phantom because this tier is all physical attacks, and Phantom gives your parties the Vanish status, which means that physical attacks cannot hurt, but magic attacks will always hurt. Unfortunately, when you do Merton, it's a magic attack that does target your party, so that negated the Vanish that he did put on his party. But when you do have Merton and everything hurts, that's good. So we saw Long Arm getting taken out by that instant death. The head is the next part that you want to kill. It is weak to fire, and if you do not kill it before anything else, it will death cast Wake if it is the last target alive. So that's what we expect to see Green Monkey doing next. Meanwhile, level Magics on Javinator's screen, not a fight you ever want to take unless you really, really want to spell. Level Magics don't give you XP, they only give you magic points. So you can learn spells by killing them, but 99 times out of 100, you don't want it. Atma's getting hit in the face with Atma Weapon over on Boo's screen. Little poetic justice here going on. And Green Monkey is already on to tier number 2. That was a pretty quick tier number 1, even after that little Phantom mishap. So let's talk about tier 2. So tier 2 has 4 different parts. It's got Tools in the middle, which will be dead before I'm done finishing the sentence, because Sword Tech 8 will take it out, and Realm is going first, as you can see. There is Magic all the way on the left-hand side of the screen, which is susceptible to mute and can only cast magic spells. So if you mute it, you basically just put it out of existence, which is what Green Monkey is going to do with this Siren cast. The tiger head there in the bottom right is weak to ice, and that is the target you usually want to take out first, because Tiger will do all sorts of nasty stuff to your party. Will zombie characters, will put them into freeze via end cross. Boo taking a reset, unfortunately, there on Atma. Atma giving our runners the business tonight. These harder bosses are difficult when you only have 2 party members and not your full squad. Anyway, going back to tier number 2, Tigers is what you want to take out first, weak to ice, and then Hit, that blue guy on the right-hand side, only does physical damage and will death counter with 10 hits, which is 10 hits of physical damage, but is susceptible to stop, and we know that we have stop because we saw it on Spicy Chicken, so you can actually stop Hit to kind of neutralize it until the death counter of 10 hits, and just as I say that, there's a stop cast. So I don't know if that was from Magic or from Green Monkey, but either way, it's almost like we know what we're doing here. Javinator finally getting to the end of the Magitech factory and finding Hudat's second favorite snail, Welk, and more importantly for this seed, going to find his Strago, which means that he is finally at character number 5. Here we see the 10 hits coming out from Hit or Fight. There's like so many different names for these bosses because they don't actually have names that show up on the nameplates here. Atma getting Atma weapon to the face on Boo's screen. Meanwhile, Drulith is also fighting Atma with a different party. I think that is Locke and Edgar? No, Locke. Oh, I'm sorry, Celeste and Terra. The Demon Chocobo is really messing with my eyes. Somebody in the chat is happy that we have Debilitator strats coming out. The Debilitator has been used a few times in this seed. So, yeah, Andrew, the last time we commentated, I know you love your Debilitator strats, and here it is, coming out on Boo's screen. Weak against poison. So Atma will absorb basically the elements that are the least popular, I guess, in the game, or the ones you usually don't have access to. Pearl, and poison, and wind, right? So you can't Merton Atma, because he'll absorb it with wind. But physical damage certainly works. Also, other elemental damage works. Drew is not too thrilled about what is going on his screen. Oh, he did take down Atma finally. There you go. Meanwhile, Green Monkey's on to Tier 3. Tier 3 has 2 different parts. The first is Lady in the back. Has quad 9 amount of hit points, but will absorb every single element, so you want to take it down with either physical attacks or non-elemental damage, of which Flash it does fall into that category. It's not much, but it does. It does work. Pummel will also work, but Pummel unfortunately is not targetable, so we'll see if we get lucky here. Nope, we do not. And then there's Rest, which has 40,000 HP. When below 10,000 HP, we'll start casting Meteor and Train, and with Death Counter with Calmness, which is why we wanted our Fenrir or Golem Esper. Meanwhile, Drew gets past Atma and sneaks by Boo. Drew actually came into Kefka's tower about 4 minutes behind Boo, but he snuck past Boo because Boo took an unfortunate wipe in his first Atma battle, and his second one did not go so great. He is stepping on the switches at 123.15. Javinator finding the corals and going to fight this boss here, which I forget. Oh, that's right, it's the piranhas. He will thankfully get his 6th character. I believe this is Terra after this. That's what we saw from Drew. Yakko Wacko checking in. Yo, yo, yo. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. So if you're enjoying what you're seeing, make sure that you go follow our runners. They're the ones that are putting on the show tonight. Drulith, Green Monkey, Javinator, and Boo. So there's their links there. Calmness, unfortunately, grabbing Celeste. Oof. And Green Monkey either did not cast Life 3 or didn't put up Fenrir, and Celeste is gone. But 3 out of 4 ain't bad, right? That's the Meatloaf song? No, that's not it. You got 3 out of 4 characters, you're not doing too bad. Meanwhile, Boo at the switches, 124.20, so there's about a minute difference between Drew and Boo right now. And Green Monkey making his way up to Final Kefka. So Final Kefka has about 60,000 HP. We'll cast Fallen One on the party unless he gets below 30,000 HP. Then he'll start countering with things like Havoc Wing and Hyperdrive and Train. And once he gets below 10,000 HP, that's where things get dangerous because he can counter with Ultima. He does have an attack that will take one party charge up phase called Goner, and it looks really cool but doesn't really do as much damage as it should for the animation that it has. But during that time, Kefka does not counterattack, so that is the time to hit him with everything he got. Here comes the Fallen One, and that's why you want the Mega Elixir, which we know we had one from beating Magimaster, or the people that did beat Magimaster. The people with Cyan and their party were the ones that beat Magimaster. Boo showing off that you can cast Shoat to try and petrify the Long Arm. Unfortunately, it didn't work. So he's going to have to figure out another instant death strategy. Sword Tech 8 certainly does the trick here. Meanwhile, Drew does take out Tier 1 and is on his way to Tier 2. Here comes the charge up for Goner over on Green Monkey's screen. So now the time is to hit him with everything you got. We got Cat Scratch coming out from Locke. We've got some Merton strats coming out from the rest of the party. I don't know if I'd jump on this turn, he's going to do it anyway. Jabinator into Kefka's tower at 126-ish on the dot. Had a rough go of trying to find some characters in this seed. Meanwhile, here comes Goner out on Green Monkey's screen, and I hope that when our jumper, I think that's Edgar, lands, that he doesn't trigger an Ultima counter. That would be no bueno. Meanwhile, Boo is taken on tier number 1. Locke goes down from that Goner cast. And there it is, Crack Pow, Green Monkey, first place, 127.32. All right, get your GGs in chat for Green Monkey. Awesome job on this seed. We're number 1. We're number 1. All right, so Drew is on to tier number 2 here. Boo is just heading up to tier number 2 as we speak. And Javinator is just in the tower, going to do some party arranging in order to make his way through the tower. The bosses in the tower are pretty tough. There is an Atma weapon, a Doom, and a number 24, which is whatever. The only thing that's dangerous with number 24 is that he can use the Overflow ability, which will confuse one of your characters. So if it's like, a Valiant Knife offering situation, which it's not for this particular scene. But if it was, then that would be bad. Or somebody that can doom your entire party. Meanwhile, we see Boo coming out with Sword Tech 8, which is Cleave, that will instant death tools, and coming out with Mute on Magic, which will make Magic basically ineffective for the rest of this fight. Celeste is getting Zombied, which is something that the Tiger can do over on Drew's screen, so that's why you want to take out Tiger first. Tiger can get pretty nasty, so... we're going to try and grab Green Monkey for an interview. He said he's going to take a minute. But he is your winner tonight for the race, so he deserves a minute. He can get a minute. Meanwhile, we've got Dance and Terra over on Javinator's screen. And Drew and Boo just battling out tier 2. And Drew making it up to tier 3. I'm going to drag Green Monkey in here. Or Green Monkey is going to drag himself in here. Or Franklin did, or somebody did. But GG's, Green Monkey. Congratulations on the W. Awesome job this seed. Well done.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a cool seed. It was fun.
This seed seemed like it was going to be overpowered because the shops all cost $20 and you had some great characters. And then you find out that Magimaster holds the key to your 4th character.
Yeah, I had a feeling that because I got Locke as like the 3rd character, so I was like, well, one of Locke's checks probably is a character. And then I went to Magimaster. I was like, oh, I don't know if I have what it takes for him yet. But so I checked Phoenix Cave and then went back to Magimaster.
Yeah, so great use of it's funny. I mentioned that you got the Carbuncle Esper, and I'm like, I don't even know what it does. And somebody in the chat said, oh, it's class Reflect on your entire party. I'm like, oh, that's how you could beat Magimaster. And then 2 minutes later, That's exactly what you did. The Odin Esper actually had Berserk on it, and I'm surprised that nobody actually used Berserk to get past Magimaster. They did other sorts of things, but I think you were the only one to use Reflect Strat, so that's a great heads-up play there.
Thanks. Yeah, I think Berserk was like ×1, so it was like...
yeah.
I took it off like too quick. I looked back at it and I was like, oh crap, because I was kind of looking for anything that would help me beat him, so... I knew I had some offense, but it was kind of like, scrappy pummels and flashes and.
Yep.
So
hey, listen, it gets the job. Yeah, it gets the job done. And with Reflect, that's pretty much most of what Magimaster does. Although some things like he throws a elemental thing at you or does surge, but that was a great job.
Yeah. Thank you.
So you decided not to go for the statue skip. Want to talk about the decision?
I wasn't like counting my checks. What is it? Okay. 17 is the skip.
17. Yep. And 16 was auto haste, and you had 6 and 9, so you're at least at 15. And okay. I saw you go into the Magitech factory, and I was like, he's got all of his stuff. Why is he going into MTech? Oh, he's going in for the statue skip, and then you warped out, I think, before you.
Yeah, I was just trying to get some levels. I felt like I was only level 29 when I got my 6th character, so I was like, this feels a little sketchy. But maybe it was fine, but I felt a little bit better. I took a few fights on the way that were both like pretty lucrative experience-wise, and then just zapped Ultros, and then...
Okay. Yeah, that was my question as to what was going on there, but you answered it.
Yeah, I had kind of forgotten about those. I might have just gone up and got the auto haste had I been thinking about it, at least. Yeah. I don't know if I would have done all 3 to get the skip, but yeah.
Well, normally what you would do if you're feeling underleveled is go fight a dragon, but not with exactly. Speed.
I had to get a little creative, and I knew I had Vector left, so I was like, okay, these guys are Magitech's... 2 quick bosses if I want them, I guess, for experience.
Yep.
So.
Awesome. You blazed right through that Kefka fight. That was a great showing. Unfortunate wipe on Atma the one time in the tower. The tower bosses were pretty difficult this go around.
Yeah, they all had. They were jacked up elemental wise. They were doing the funky stuff like the hyperdrives and whatever. Atma weapon had hyperdrive going, and Atma had his usual brand of nonsense.
Always fun when you have things that are beyond your control. But so overall great run. You have any other thoughts on the seed or on on your strategy on how you played this one?
Not really. I mean, I found Merton early and then just tried to cobble together the pieces for that. And then was just kind of prioritizing magic users, I think. And I went to the Coliseum. I hoped to get Valiant Knife. That was kind of
Yep. I think you were the only one on stream to do that. Found some good stuff in there. A flame shield for Merton, thunder shields, right? But nothing like, oh my god, I need to have this, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. I figured I made the trip. I might as well grab the flame shield, and so I grabbed that. But other than that, I just kind of I don't know. So it was just mostly magic offense, but it was good enough. So it was good.
All right. Well, before you go, we'll say GG's to Drew, finishing up with a official time of 1:34.21. And you got any other last words before we kick you out of here?
Nope. That's it for me.
Awesome. Congrats on your first place finish. Enjoy the cookies that were wagered in the race room beforehand. Tell me how delicious they are. Send me a recipe for one of them, and talk to you next time.
All right. Sounds good. See you, man.
All right. Bye-bye. And we're joined by Drew as Boo finishes up 1:35.09. GG's for Boo. And how are you, Drew?
Pretty good.
So, talk to me about the seed. How did you feel? being gated by Magic Tech 3.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen it before. We all dread it. The dreaded all your progressions locked behind Magic Tech 3 in a seed where you're otherwise already good to go offensively. I mean, it just is what it is.
Magimaster also would have given you
I figured, but I didn't have anything to really deal with him very efficiently, so I figured I'd take my chances on the MTech Factory. I didn't really loot any chests, which I'm sure if you did, you would have got dice, and then you probably would have had a way better time with this one, but I didn't have no dice.
The shops were where it's at, because the shops were cheap, and you started off with some money, right? And the chests were only 10% random, so I don't think we pulled anything crazy out of chests, but yeah.
I think in vanilla, so like the shuffled chests, you have access to V-Knife, fixed dice, all the elemental shields. So like a lot of good stuff, especially for fighting Magimaster, but like since I was just skipping all the chests, I was like, well, maybe I'm paying for this now. Because I don't have any of these ignored defense stuff, and I kind of like pummeled with sabbing my way through, but that was just taking forever.
Yeah, one strategy was to cast Carbuncle to reflect everything on your party, and then use Flash and pummel, but that took Green Monkey a while to do that. And Odin actually taught Berserk, but I think it was at ×1 or ×2. So that's, I think, what Boo did in order to get past him. Either that or he just persevered.
I thought that Reflect didn't really work consistently with the element scaling. Yeah,
well, Magimaster did throw out stuff like Surge and the Skeins that don't... Reflect doesn't help with that, but yeah, so that was pretty tough. You also found Phantom Train and did not suplex the train. Want to talk about that?
So yeah, I kind of just got a cat scratch, so like it just died. Like I was actually thinking about doing it, but like I was like,
it was just too fast.
It's dead. Yeah, I was like, and I was already just like, I don't know if you noticed, I was just holding A through most of the end game. Like I had all the commands on memory cursor ready to go, to where just holding A was efficient. So like literally the battle started, I was already holding A, Stray Cat got selected, like it was already done. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
All right. Well, we'll forgive you, but you know, you get -1 meme points for
True. I mean, my legitimate excuse is that it wasn't an objective, so save the frames.
Ooh, Jav taking a wipe to Atma here, and that's a yikes. So Javinator is going to forfeit. He's had enough of this rough seed.
Also, yeah,
for him.
We had every single
very rough.
We had every single hard boss except Doomgaze.
Yep, we had Spicy Chicken. You fought Goddess. You were one of the only people I think that fought Goddess, right? That was at Zozo.
Yeah, but yeah, like if you.
Which, by the way, you could have removed that character. I guess you must have missed that flag being on.
Oh, I've never done Y remove ever in my life, so it's like completely blind to that flag.
Well, you will learn. You will learn something now. So.
Yeah.
So you actually made it into Kefka's Tower 3rd and ended up 2nd, so you passed Boo on the way in there. So awesome job, very fast KT. And you got any other words before we get out of here?
Nah, that's pretty much it. I think it was a pretty fun race, fun flag set. I don't think I played it bad. I think that just the last location, MTech 3, is just kind of brutal sometimes. Like you just have to like going to MTech 3 is just like a risk whenever you're already so strong. Cause it's like I don't need to be stronger, and it's gonna take forever. Right. And if it's a dead check, like now I'm like way behind. So you know it's just like the decision matrix there, and sometimes you just hold it off until last. But yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. Nice flag set, bad seed. That'll happen sometimes.
Yeah, I would say so. It'd be fun to play it again with a different seed.
Yeah, especially because you unlocked the Illumina, I think, first, right away. You did the clock and you did the soldier right away.
Honestly, wasn't worth. I could have just used Meriton and the merit awards for the early game. The Illumina really didn't add a whole lot this season.
That's true. Yeah.
But part of me doing that was I wanted to familiarize myself more with those quests.
Yep. Yep. Well, we got to show them off on stream, which is great. You know, I think we had 3 different quests being showed off. some of the other runners decided to save Sid, so that was good.
Saving Sid, I hope they didn't do it over the clock, because the clock was free.
Yeah, the clock was pretty free. I personally, if it was me, I would have done Saving Sid and the clock, because the Mobilus one I'm not as familiar with, but after watching you, I think you made the right choice.
Yeah, and I also could have done it faster. I made a lot of mistakes. Like, I probably could have done it about 30% faster, because I wasn't completely sure what I was doing either. I only done it one other time. So I don't know like all the particulars, but now I kind of do. So I'm glad I did.
It's the blind leading the blind here on Worlds Collide. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Drew, and congrats on your second place finish.
Thank you. You all have a good night.
All right. And we've got Boo. Hello, Boo. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, what did you think of the seed?
A lot of espers, not a whole lot of characters. That was kind of annoying, but other than that, it was all right.
Yeah, so the seed was unfortunately gated behind either Magimaster for Cyan or Magitech 3 for Strago. So you clearly picked the right choice.
Well, I was gonna do Magitech 3 just to grab a character, but I didn't want to because I hate it. And then I saw that I almost learned Berserk. So my strategy was use the Magitech 1 and 2 to learn Berserk, and then I warped out to go see if the Magitech or the Magimaster fight was a character, which it was, and I thought, cool, now I don't have to do that garbage Magitech 3. And that kind of screwed me.
Perfect. Yeah, so I Green Monkey was, I think, the only other runner that did Magimaster, but he used the strat of Carbuncle to reflect everything and just beat it with flashes and pummels. Your way was certainly a lot faster. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, I could have saved a lot of time had I just finished out Magitech, because I think I did like 4 or 5 more checks after it just to find my last character. So that was a big waste of time, but I had fun with the Debilitator and well,
yeah,
Debilitator
Andrew was very very fond of the Debilitator strat. So let's talk about Haydn, fallen one on all of your poison characters. That was fun, huh?
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I thought, well, what's the harm in using this rage? It'll just, I don't know. I wasn't expecting a fallen one. I was expecting like a Grand Train or something I could tank.
Yeah.
That's
always the crazy thing with the scaling is you never know what kind of spell could come out here, because the Kefka Tower bosses were also pretty mean because they were also pretty tough and they used some bad abilities. Yeah. You took a wipe to Atmo, as did some of the other runners too. So.
Yeah, Atmo didn't play very nice, and I ate an Ultima from Atmo Weapon, I think, but his power was low.
I didn't even see that. Wow.
Oh okay. Yeah, it was a weak Ultima. I did like 1,300 damage or something like that, but I was a little worried when it came out, but. Yeah, that Haydn was kind of boo hockey, and that Atma gave me problems. But all in all, not too bad. I probably futzed around too much at the beginning looking for stuff. But ultimately, my undoing was just not doing Magitech 3, which I never do, and I always regret. So I guess I'm just going to start doing it again.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if you did Magitech 3, then you would have had to have done one of Strago's 3 checks. Which one are you doing first?
I'd probably peek Fanatic's Tower.
Yep, and that's not a character, so then what?
Then I would definitely do Abbott's Rock.
Okay, then you would have had your other character. But if you would have done Burning House, we don't know what Burning House is, but yeah, that could have been just as bad, right? Cyan at least has decent checks, but
Yeah, I should have just done a dream, first off. But at that point, I only needed one character, and then I thought, that's a pretty slow check if any of the other two have characters, but sadly they did not. And then I even did Phoenix Cave as like a Hail Mary. No one else is going to do this. Maybe this will get me something. But
meanwhile, everybody else did it. Well, I mean, when you get it's last location, right? So that's the nickname for this seed. So, any other thoughts on the seed or the race? Any tidbits from your run that you want to share?
I found a lot of force armors for some reason, and the tiered shops gave a lot of hero rings, force armors, and I don't know, something else. So the tiering thing is kind of odd.
Yeah.
But you know, as for 20 GP, might as well buy a bunch of hero rings instead of looking for earrings. So that was okay.
Yep.
But
we
yeah,
did see a lot of rings.
I do like the objective system. You know, granting extra awards. How many people got the Illumina? Did everybody do that?
I think most people did that, and there was a combination of the clock and saving Sid and mailing letters. I don't think anybody did the opera as one of them. It's a bit longer, but it's pretty easy. I actually don't know the right prompts for the opera, so I'll have to learn it someday. But the other three, you know, especially the Zozo clock, which wasn't randomized, which is kind of free. So
right. Well, yeah, I was thinking about doing the the injured lad, but it was going to cost a bunch of money, and I was kind of worried about getting money this seed, so I decided to save Sid, and also the latest patch, or one of the latest patches, basically decreased the time to save Sid, so it seemed like it wouldn't take too long. So
it makes the good fishes gooder and the bad fishes worser.
Yeah.
So just like anyway. English in that sentence. So thank you, Boo, for being for featuring yourself on stream. Always appreciated. Can't have the show without the runners. So,
sure. Always fun to de-rest on stream.
All right. Sounds good.
Well,
thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys. And thanks for everybody to, running the show and everybody watching, and see y'all at the next one.
All right. Thanks a lot, Boo. So yeah, that'll do it for tonight. We are going to raid Jex Ferox because he is actually also running this seed. He's at some of the final bosses. He has not finished yet, so we're going to send it over there to him. I've been TheSchwantz27. Franklin has been our tracker and restreamer. And go and follow our runners. They're the ones that put on the show. Drew, Green Monkey, Javinator, and Boo the Runner. Say hi to Jex Ferox for me, and we will catch you all on Thursday for our community race, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks and goodbye.